Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for May 14th. May 14th is the 134th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 135th in leap years, with 231 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is funicular. I've also heard it pronounced with more of an oo sound, like funicular, but the dictionary says it's pronounced with the u sound, like funicular. So that's how we're going to say it today. Funicular can be an adjective or a noun. We'll mention the noun form first, and that should help you then understand the adjective form better. In terms of explaining this word as a noun, a funicular is a type of transportation system, especially used on steep hills or mountainsides. It operates on a cable with two counterbalanced cars, which are attached to opposite ends of the cable, allowing them to move up and down a slope simultaneously. One goes up while the other goes down, and then they switch. This type of system is particularly effective on steep gradients where traditional rail or road vehicles would struggle. Examples include the Peak Tram in Hong Kong, which connects Hong Kong with Victoria Peak, or the Funicular de Montmartre in Paris, which goes from the lower part of the district to the Sacre-Cœur Basilica. Not that long a trip, but it does save visitors from climbing that steep hill on foot. So that's what a funicular is, and as an adjective, then, funicular has to do with or describes such an arrangement, like a funicular system. You might also hear the word funicular in relation to neuroanatomy, where it has to do with nerve bundles, and that relation to bundled strands is how we come to have the word funicular. It relates to a Latin term that meant small rope. The French began using the word funiculaire to describe the types of rail cars we mentioned before, and as language evolves over time, we get the word funicular, which means relating to a cord under tension. The word funicular first appears in the 1600s, but we really don't see much of it in use until the 1800s. Funicular. Now, wasn't that fun? Today's word funicular was suggested by YouTube viewer RobKYLD, at RobKYLD. Thanks, Rob. And if you have a word you'd like to see in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, we've talked about smallpox before and fairly recently, as I recall. It came in outbreak waves, and it would typically kill about 30% of the people that caught it. That's 3 out of 10. 1/3 of the people that caught it died from smallpox. And those who survived, about 1/3 of those were left blind. Suffice to say that smallpox has killed millions of people and caused trouble for millions more over the centuries. As a medical student, an English country doctor named Edward Jenner noticed that milkmaids who had contracted the disease called cowpox, a much milder form of pox, did not catch smallpox. And so it is that on May 14, 1796, Jenner took fluid from a cowpox blister and scratched it into the skin of an 8-year-old boy named James Phipps. A single blister arose on the spot, but James soon recovered, and then on July 1st, Jenner inoculated the boy again, this time with smallpox matter. No disease developed. The vaccine was a success, and the world's first successful vaccination as a preventative treatment for smallpox was born. On May 14, 1804, about a year after the United States had doubled its territory with the Louisiana Purchase, the Lewis and Clark expedition left St. Louis, Missouri on a mission to explore the Northwest from the Missouri River to the Pacific Ocean. This is the birthday of Walden Robert Cassato, only we know him better as Bobby Darin, American singer, songwriter, and actor born May 14, 1936 in New York, New York. He showed an early interest in music, played several instruments by the time he was in his teens. He met Don Kirshner in 1955 and started writing jingles and songs, worked on several songs for Connie Francis. He began using the name Bobby Darin when he began recording songs in 1958. Bobby Darin had such hits as Splish Splash, Dream Lover, Mac the Knife, and Beyond the Sea, to name a few. He became interested in acting while he was in college, and he went on to act in television and movies. Met his first wife, Sandra Dee, while filming the movie Come September in 1961. He went on to perform in several movie roles after that, in addition to his singing career. His mother was an unwed teenager when he was born, and back then that was verboten in those days, so he was raised as her little brother. We would probably never have known this, and why would we need to? But in 1968, he thought he might like to go into politics. Even then, politics was life under a microscope where every detail of one's life was ferreted out and exposed. And it may be that his biological mother, whom he'd always known as his sister, told him the truth in an effort to spare him the shock and embarrassment of having it found out and publicized. It's amazing what could be found out, even all those decades before the days of social media. She never did tell him who the father was, though. As busy and productive as Bobby Darin was, I was surprised to learn that he had been a sickly child. He'd had rheumatic fever as a child, and this caused him to have a weakened heart. He underwent heart valve surgery in 1971. He kept working, though. In 1973, he developed an infection that caused damage to those heart valves. He went back for another open heart surgery, but he did not survive. Bobby Darin passed on December 20th, 1973, at the age of 37. Skylab, America's first space station, was successfully launched into orbit around Earth on May 14th, 1973. Be sure to check out the How About That and the There's a Word for That playlists to see about other single subjects we've covered. I'll leave a link to those for you. We heard a few minutes ago about some of the songs Bobby Darin was famous for, but today I'd like to talk about Beyond the Sea. Written by French singer-songwriter Charles Trenet as an ode to the sea in the 1940s. American songwriter Jack Lawrence changed it to a love song when he composed the English lyrics. Beyond the Sea has been released as an instrumental by Benny Goodman, Ray Conniff, Roger Williams, and others. The instrumental version by Robbie Williams is used in the closing credits of the movie Finding Nemo. Bobby Darin released his version of Beyond the Sea in 1959, and it did well in the charts. Beyond the Sea has been covered by several other artists as well. Beyond the Sea by Bobby Darin. Link in the description. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.